Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Every parent thinks their kid is a little special, and while that might be true, these kids we will be talking about today are truly something else. And on that note, let us get into the 10 most unusual kids in the world. Number 10. Pecos Tatum. When you think of a cowboy, you are probably thinking of a middle-aged man riding a horse. Then you won't have heard of Pecos Tatum, who is barely 15 but is already a veteran of the American Youth Rodeo Association and the star of a couple of documentaries. And he does not plan on stopping anytime soon. He is the kind of kid who was born to be a cowboy, just like some people are born to be engineers or doctors. He was destined to be a cowboy as his father practiced rodeo all his life, and his mother grew up on a ranch and was a fan of rodeo too. So it's no wonder the boy first got on horseback when he was 2 weeks old. At the age of 1, he used a wooden dowel to herd empty boxes. And at the age of 7, he took part in the American Youth Rodeo Association competition for the first time and immediately secured success. In 2013, he won 1 championship, and then in 2014, he won 3. Pecos Tatum devotes all his free time to training in the hopes of becoming the best. Number 9. Sam Holtz. Sam Holtz was just 6 years old when he predicted the winner of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And it's not that he has been blessed with the gift of foresight or anything like that. He just keeps a close eye on the sports news. And even though basketball is not Sam's favorite sport, he still managed to make the most accurate prediction. Well, he made a few mistakes, but luck was on his side. Holtz beat a group of network basketball analysts, the president himself, and even a bunch of celebrities. Due to his victory, Sam was entitled to a prize of $20,000, but since he was a minor, he couldn't qualify for the award. Number 8. Elita Andre. All the drawings we made as kids were barely legible. Perhaps a sun or two in the corner was all the artistic skill we had. But 12-year-old Elita Andre is already considered a professional artist, or an abstractionist with a surrealistic style. She took up painting when she was just 9 months old. But why is this girl so passionate about painting? Some credit, of course, goes to her parents, since her father is an artist and her mother is a photographer. Elita's creative parents supported their daughter and provided the young artist with everything necessary for painting, and even built a modern workshop for her. Their efforts were not in vain, because the little girl is really talented. Naturally, she has some critics. For example, some people believe that the girl doesn't create her own works, and it's really her parents who do the painting, which they deny vehemently. Number 7. Gitanjali Rao. The wish to change the world has nothing to do with age, and Gitanjali Rao is living proof of that. This talented young girl was dubbed the best young scientist in the United States at the age of 12. That's because she came up with a quick and inexpensive way to determine the presence of lead in water with her invention. She wanted to help the city of Flint, Michigan, where many residents suffered from lead contamination in the city's water. In 2016 at the time, majority of its residents complained about the unusual color and unpleasant smell coming from the water. After several tests, it turned out that the content of lead in the blood of some Flint citizens, including children, was incredibly high. A state of emergency was declared, and $5 million were allocated to eliminate the contamination. She got the idea when she saw her parents testing the water with test strips and realized it wasn't a very reliable process, as it would take quite a few tries to get accurate results. Gitanjali Rao decided to invent her own device, which would be much faster and cheaper for ordinary people. But don't ask us how that's possible. Some kids are probably just born geniuses. Number 6. Catherine DeMaria. It is quite stereotypical of people to assume that girls really are only into fashion, makeup, social media, etc. You get the gist. No one really expects them to be interested in assembling cars. Well, Catherine DeMaria breaks all such stereotypes, as even at the tender age of 12, she told her parents that she wanted to assemble a car. She didn't even want a new car, she just wanted to build one on her own. Her parents were quite naturally taken aback, but since her father himself was a fan of classic muscle cars, he agreed. Initially, he thought that his daughter's hobby wouldn't last longer than a few months, so he bought her a damaged 1986 Pontiac Fiero for $450, which she herself had saved up from babysitting. Now, you may be wondering why on earth she would want to assemble a car. According to her, it was a good idea to learn about cars, and the experience would be useful if she decided to pursue a career in engineering. I'm wondering what I was doing at the age of 12, probably still deciding on which cartoon I wanted to watch. As one might expect, her itch for building cars did not fade away, and she persisted in repairing the car with the help of her parents. What's even more interesting is that in addition to repairing the car, she even improvised its logistics. For example, instead of the original 2.8-liter engine, she installed a 3.4-liter engine from a Chevy Camaro. Catherine gets really irritated that people still obsess over the fact that she is a female mechanic. She believes it shouldn't matter that she's a girl, as she does the job just as well as anyone else would. Number 5. Amna and Hamda Al-Kubaisi. The sister duo Amna and Hamda are the first female kart riders in the United Arab Emirates. Sounds pretty cool, right? What's even cooler is that they started driving at the age of 14, because their father was also a famous racer. He was the first athlete from the Emirates to take part in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is the oldest active sports car race in endurance racing. Obviously, with such an inspirational father, the girls were constantly listening to the stories of competitions and travels around the world, and they felt the need for speed. He too noticed that his daughters were pretty good at racing as well. The oldest, Amna, had already proved herself at the age of 3, as she loved getting behind the wheel as though she had already knew how to drive, and the younger sister Hamda also wanted to race and make her family proud. Now, both of them have amassed quite a collection of trophies, and they only keep getting better with time. Number 4. Kelvin Doe. Kelvin Doe is 23 years old, but we just had to include him in our list. After all, he began to amaze people at a very young age. This young man from Sierra Leone is known for becoming an engineer at the age of 13. Of course, he had no diploma. He learned everything all by himself by gathering electronic pieces from garbage dumps and building something new out of them. And not only because he loved to do so. In Sierra Leone, there were constant blackouts. At times, people could enjoy electricity for a week and then sit in the dark for the rest of the month, which is why he made his own battery, capable of powering the surrounding homes. Kelvin also created his own radio station in Sierra Leone, under the name DJ Focus. I don't know about you, but he sounds pretty smart to me. Number 3. Giuliano Stroie. Giuliano Stroie is a Romanian athlete and bodybuilder. Giuliano began doing sports when he was 2 years old. His father began to teach him intensive training, since his parents had always dreamed of making a child with superpowers. He also holds several records, which are also in the Guinness Book of Records. He performed a trick in front of an audience on an Italian television show and became an internet sensation. And he's even a YouTube star.
6, 7, 8.
And with that, it is now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on future videos. Number 2. This image is that of a 15-year-old girl from the Philippines called Alexandria Siang. She suffers from a medical condition that affects her hormones, due to which she does not age like a regular kid. Despite being 15, she still looks like she is 9. People find it difficult to guess her age, because while she looks like a kid, her body is that of a teenager, due to which she has been ridiculed in the past. Number 1. Carl Scheckel. At only 10 years old, Carl Scheckel uses his love of comics to entertain soldiers and veterans. It all began when Carl, with the help of his dad, launched a website called Carl's Comics to post reviews of works and interviews with comic book creators. Then one of his readers asked him if he would be open to donating comics to veterans. He liked the idea and ran with it. Carl took 400 comics of his own and asked collectors, creators, and dealers if they would like to also join in. In total, he raised over 3,500 comics. Were you thinking of this when you were 10? I know I wasn't. And that concludes our list of the 10 most unusual kids in the world. Let us know in the comments section below which one of these kids was truly impressive. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell icon.